Hi everyone, it's Bethany. Welcome back to my channel. So we are weeks and days away from our third little baby being born. I am so excited. So our nursery is completely done. It's so beautiful and I love how it turned out. But I thought I'd pop down here and just do a couple little Cricut crafts for our nursery just to add some final finishing touches. So I'm not sure how many crafts I'm actually going to get done in this sitting. Of course, you will see it on the little thumbnail because I create those after the video. But as of right now, I'm not sure how many I'm going to get done. I have a lot of inspiration. I'm just going to craft until I get tired out. I have a lot of fun ideas for the little finishing touches to the nursery. And I also thought it'd be really fun to do a little gender guessing game in the comment section. So be sure to pop down into the comments and guess whether you think our baby is going to be a boy or a girl. Your guess is as good as ours because we do not know the gender of our little one. We always wait until birth to find out if we are having a boy or a girl. So be sure to pop down there and leave your little guess. We're just going to be playing just for fun. All right, let's hop into Design Space and let's get some of these crafts started. I can't wait to see how everything turns out. Also, stay tuned till the very end and I will show you a little sneak peek of our nursery and how I incorporated all the little crafts that we're going to do today. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so for the first craft for our nursery, I really wanted to create a little monthly milestone sign. So I'm using a couple separate elements. So I'm using this really pretty wreath that I purchased off of Design Bundles. I'll be sure to link it below in case you'd like to purchase it yourself. You could use this for just about anything. You could use it to make a door sign or whatever you'd like, but I thought this would be really pretty as an embellishment for this idea that I have for this little monthly milestone sign. And then what I did is I also used a really cool font. I can't remember the font name, but I'll be sure to link it in the description box below this video. It's a font that I also got off of Design Bundles and I really like it. I already made all of these because it took me forever. This was a cursive font that I had to detach and then, or I had to ungroup, and then I had to attach all of the letters together by welding them. So honestly, I did it in front of the television because it was one of those mindless little tasks that I just wanted to zone out in front of the TV and do. So I have all of these all prepared, but I will show you how I'm going to get everything sized and ready. So the idea here is that I am going to have a little sign and then I will have a little area to keep changing out the month as our little baby keeps growing. And in the beginning, I'm going to obviously have this little coming soon as we're waiting for baby to arrive. And then when they're brand new, we'll have brand new. And then accordingly, we'll just do 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Now you can do the numbers. I really like how the numbers are written out. So that's how I did that. For the 12 months, you could also, instead of saying 12 months, you could say 1 year old. But again, those are all just personal preferences. So I'm going to get my sign together really quickly. Before I do that, I want you to notice that this file here is coming in multiple different layers. So I want to make sure that I actually weld this all together so that it all cuts exactly how I see it. So I'm just going to weld that, and welding that will take all of those layers and then bring them into one layer right here. Okay, so now I'm going to come over to Shapes, grab a square. I'm going to right click and just send this all the way to the back so that I can drag all the other elements onto it when designing. And then I'm going to make this white because my sign is white, and I'm going to size this at 5 inches by 5 inches. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my wreath and I'm going to size that, which that actually looks pretty darn close. I'm going to make that as big as I can. Okay, so that looks really pretty. And then this is going to be cut out of a nice, pretty mint vinyl. I haven't decided which one, but I know I want it to be a green color. Then what I'm going to do is I have some little wooden shapes, little wooden circles that I'm going to place my little 1 month, 2 month, 3 month on, and that way I can interchange them out each month. So I am going to go ahead and grab a circle. I'm going to make this more of a wood color just for visual purposes. So I'll make it brown and then maybe make it just like a really pale brown. Okay, so then I am going to size this at 3 inches. Okay, so it's going to cover my little wreath just a little bit, but I think it's going to look fun and dimensional, so that is going to be just fine for me. So you'll see how this comes together in a little while. So I have this all ready to go. The reason I wanted to get this little element in here is because I want to size all of my little sentiments that I have over here, all my little sayings. So one thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I size these all at the same time. That way they are all consistent. So I'm just going to select all of them, and then what I'm going to do is right click and say send to front. That way they go on top, and then I'm just going to literally size that up, knowing that I am sizing one visually, but I'm sizing all of them at the same time. So I'm going to select all of them once more. If you need to select all of them at one time, you can hold down Command on your keyboard, and that will help you select all of them, or you can come over to your layers panel and select them over there. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just group those together in the meantime. That way I can grab them all at one time. So now I'm just hovering over to make sure that they all fit nicely. I think they're all going to fit just fine, and I'm just making sure visually that that all looks really nice. So let me pull this over a little bit, and I'm mainly looking at my longer ones, so like the 8 and the 12, just to make sure that that still looks really good. And that looks good. Okay, so these are all sized fine, so we're all good. So now what I can do is I'm only going to be cutting out my little words here, and I'm only going to be cutting out my wreath. So these two elements were just for sizing purposes, so I can delete those. I'm going to cut out these little words out of a white vinyl, so I can just go ahead and tell that to be white, and now I'm all set. So I can say make it. I'm using my Cricut Explorer Air 2, and then what I'm going to do here is I am going to just drag these apart a little bit, just so I'm given a little bit of grace in between each one. And that will help me just cut them apart once I have them weeded, or weed them separately, whichever you prefer. Okay, so that looks pretty good. There we go. Okay, so that mat is fine, and then of course I have a second mat for my second color. I can go ahead and say continue, and then it's going to locate my Explorer Air 2. I'm using adhesive vinyl for both mats, so I can just use the premium vinyl setting, and then I can load my first mat, which will be the white vinyl. Then after that cuts out, I'll load my second mat, which is my mint color vinyl, and then we'll get all of this all ready to go. Okay, so lots of things on my craft space here, so I will go through them in just a moment, but let's go ahead and load in our mat with the white vinyl first, and we will go ahead and load in and then say cut. Okay, so while that's cutting, I am using this as my little sign. This is actually from Hobby Lobby. It actually came with a little sentiment painted on there, but I decided to paint over it. I like to find little affordable pieces of wood or bases to work on, and then I just paint over them. It's a way to keep crafting affordable. So I just painted the inside with my favorite chalk paint, which I'll link down below. It took quite a few coats, but it looks really, really good, and now it's repurposed for something new. So I have that, and then I am going to place all of my little 1 month, 2 month, 3 months on these cute little circular wooden pieces. I found these at Michael's, and they are little 3-inch rounds. They're really, really cute and affordable, and they come in a 6-pack. So you can do this craft by just getting 2, because obviously there are 12 months, but I wanted to add a couple more sentiments, such as the coming soon and the brand new. So I wanted to have just a couple additional pieces to play around with. Plus there are so many other crafts you can do with this, so it's nice to have these laying around the craft room. I also have some Velcro, and I'll show you how I'm going to use that to make this sign interchangeable once we get to putting this all together. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cut out. I'm going to go and try to find the mint or green piece that I want to use for the little vine, and then we will start getting this all assembled. So I am just taking out all of these little wooden pieces, and I'm realizing that another reason you may want to just grab an extra pack is because you may get one that looks like that, and I don't know about you, but that would drive me completely crazy. So having an extra pack is really nice, because then if you accidentally get something like this, then you have an extra one just to replace that out. I'm going to keep this, and I'll probably just paint over it for another craft, but when it's something like this where I want to use the natural wood, I want the wood to be pretty flawless. But these are actually really nice. Out of an entire 2 packs, I only had one that had a little blemish on it. But again, it's not worth wasting. It's just not going to work for this particular craft. Okay, so this first is done. So I am going to take my mat, place it upside down like always, and bend my mat away from my vinyl. That way it doesn't pucker up or ruin my material as I'm trying to get it off of the mat. And then I can load my next piece in. So I'm using this really pretty mint piece. It's from Paper Studio, which is the Hobby Lobby brand. I actually don't mind their vinyl. It weeds fine, it works fine. I haven't had a problem with it. So, oh goodness. Looks like I am just about done with that. Okay, so that's my last little piece of that. I have been crafting so much, getting ready to be off all summer for baby. You guys will still have a lot of videos, but I won't be doing them in real time. I have done all of them this spring and third trimester. So some of my materials are starting to get a little low, which just means that when baby is here, I will probably be just doing a lot of online shopping and looking for good deals to replenish my little craft room. So I'll get this cut out, and in the meantime, I will start weeding out my little words here. Okay, so I've just started weeding out all my little words. One thing I wanted to tell you is what I like to do is I like to turn my vinyl over, and then I like to take my scraper tool and then just really press down before I weed out my material. I don't do this every time, but when I have small letters, I like to do that just to make sure everything's in its place. And then being very careful, I like to cut between. I don't do this all the time, but when I have a lot of words, sometimes it's less overwhelming to weed them in individual pieces instead of trying to do an entire row, because it's just a lot of vinyl to have to work with. So then you just want to be careful that you actually don't cut into your design. So just be mindful of that. And then I'm just weeding out all of my little words. Okay, and then I'm just placing them in little piles as I go. I actually, as I'm crafting, I went up to the nursery today to get all of the baby's clothing and just all of the sheets and all the little materials, and I'm washing everything so the dryer's going and I get to hang up everything today. I actually, a few months ago, did all of my nesting where I was putting everything away, but then at the last minute decided I did that way too early, so I'm rewashing everything just to make sure it's super fresh and ready to go. And it's been a fun day of just prepping and waiting. After this video, I'm actually going to start packing my hospital bag, because even though we have some weeks left, I just like to get that done. It's just one of those things that's in the back of my mind that makes me nervous. I don't want to have to do that at the last minute. Okay, so now I have my mint piece here, and I'll just scrape that down really quickly and weed this out as well. So going nice and slow. There are a lot of little bits and parts to this beautiful wreath. I am really excited that I purchased this. I've had this in my favorites for a long time. Again, I'll be sure to link it below, because I feel like you could use it for so many things, like I was saying. So of course I'm using it for this project, but I feel like this would make a really pretty fall wreath as well. And one thing I always am fascinated with is that just simply by changing out the vinyl color, you can take the same design and really just make it very seasonal. You can change the entire look of it just by changing out that vinyl color. So sometimes that's really awesome when investing in an SVG, because you can just reuse it for multiple occasions and have it look different every time just by switching out your vinyl. So of course I'm keeping this very gender neutral, so I like to go with a nice mint. I have little accents of mint in the nursery right now. Okay, so that's looking really good. Just need to fix a couple of pieces here and then weed out the little centers. So even if you are not currently expecting or creating a nursery for yourself, some of these crafts will be really good baby shower gifts. I love this little sign because it just makes it really, really fun to change out throughout the first year of baby, and it's just so fun. I also want to mention that I actually wrote an ebook all about how to photograph your baby's first year, and I wrote it when my first was a little one, and it was just really, really fun. I actually was a newborn and family photographer before I decided to be crafting full-time, so I wrote a really good ebook about how you can take pictures and what milestones you want to look out for baby's first year and how to best take those pictures. So that is also another fun little either gift idea, or if you are currently planning for a baby and really much like me and like to take pictures of all the things, then I'll be sure to link that as well. Actually, in fact, when I go back into Design Space, I'll show you where you can find that as well when I get to my computer. Okay, so this is all ready to go. I'm going to bring in my transfer tape. I have fallen in love with this clear grid line transfer tape. It is amazing. I love it so, so much. You can either buy it by the sheet or by rolls, and I actually prefer it by the sheet, but I purchased it by the roll just to have a bulk version as well. And it's the same product, it's just how it's stored. So this is just obviously in a big roll format. But I'll link it down below. I love it. I love a grid line too because it helps get everything aligned. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place my vinyl and all my vinyl pieces onto this transfer tape so I can get ready to have everything transferred over to my project. So I'm going to take my little words as well and just place them face down so that the vinyl and the transfer tape meet. And you can reuse your transfer tape as well. I usually do. You guys see in all my videos me reusing it. I'm going to go quickly in this craft because I am just so tired. So I am going to just use this once. After I peel all these pieces off, I can definitely reuse this, but I'm going to just place them all down at the same time instead of using the same piece to do each of the words. Okay, so that is all set. So I can turn this over. You'll see all my little pieces just like so. I will grab my scraper and scrape all of my pieces down. This just helps the transfer tape and the vinyl meet. I'm in that phase of pregnancy where I'm working smarter, not harder. So I'm just doing things in bulk and doing them quickly. So I like to turn that over as well, and I like to burnish down the back just so that it really is down, and it really helps the vinyl come off a lot quicker and simpler so that everything comes off at the same time. Okay, so now I'm just going to trim off individually what I need at the time. So I'm going to start with the wreath. We'll put that on our little base, and with it still face down, I will just peel away that cutting carrier sheet nice and slow and help any little pieces down that may want to come up. Okay, there we go. All right, now I am just going to trim around my transfer tape just so that it's really snug to my design. That's just going to help make sure that it all fits within my little frame here, since I have a frame that has high edges on it. So just trimming this down a little bit. Okay, then I'll take my little frame. I want to make sure that I know which side I want it to sit on, because the side that has the little hangy on it, wherever side that is up, usually it has the flattest base opposite of it. And if you don't get a flat side, then it'll wobble and it will drive you crazy. So make sure you know which way you want it up. So I'm going to place that little wreath inside and center it the best that I can visually. Okay, that looks good to me. So then I can just press it down with my fingers first, just like so, and then come back through with my scraper and really press into it. Now I love lighter colors. If you've been around my channel a while, you already know that. I am very much a crafter of softer tones. So you can be sure to change out your vinyl colors as you'd like. I like to take a weeding tool to grab my transfer tape, but also be very mindful that it's very easy to scratch your paint. So be careful when doing this. Okay. And then I will peel up my transfer tape and leave my little vinyl wreath on my sign here. How cute. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, so that little part of the craft is done. I love how that looks. That is so pretty and very gender neutral, in my opinion, very much my style. Okay, so now what I can do is start assembling these little wooden pieces. So you can paint these, you can stain these, do whatever you'd like. Again, I really like natural neutral tones, and I'm going to go ahead and just leave them bare. So you can do whatever you'd like, but my style is a little bit more simplistic, so this is exactly what I wanted. And I am simply going to take my little words, again, trim them apart. I may actually burnish them down just one more time, just to make sure on the front and back that they are ready to go. Peel away the cutting sheet, and then I will just center these visually. Again, you can choose any vinyl color that you like. And it might be a little hard for you to see on camera, but it's very obvious in person. I can see this really well, but hopefully you can see it. I really like things to be really soft, so. Okay, so there we go. Let's see if it'll focus. How cute is that? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'll do one more for you just in case. So burnish the back, burnish the front, and then peel up. I thought maybe I'd forgotten to weed something, but looks good. Grab a little base here. Make sure I have what side I'd like. And center. This is going to be very much lather, rinse, and repeat over and over and over on all, I guess I'm doing 14. I'm doing 14 little circles, so peel up. Whoops, that one didn't quite get there, so I'm just going to press down a little bit more. Okay, and then just peeling up that transfer tape, leaving the words right on that little wooden circle. Okay, so there we go. That looks really cute. Again, use whatever colors you'd like, but I love how soft that looks. So I'll go ahead and do all of my little circles, and then I'm going to show you how I will make them interchangeable on my little sign here. Okay, so I am just finishing up my last little sign here. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to bring in these little Velcro discs that I purchased, and I'll get these opened up and show you how I'm going to get everything ready to be interchangeable on the sign. Okay, so as you know with Velcro, or if you're new to Velcro, there is a harder side and then a softer side. Of course, those match up with one another in order to connect the two. So I'm only going to need one of the harder sides. So I'm going to go ahead and just select one of those. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place that right in the middle of my sign there. So let's see if you can see that, just right here. So I have it placed here. Now on all of the other pieces, I am going to do the soft side so that they match up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the soft side, place it down on my hard side. There's probably a technical term for these things, but you know what? I'm going with hard and soft side. Then I'm going to take my disc and I'm just going to place it right on there. Press down, and then when I bring that up, then I have it right in the center of my disc. So I'll do another one. That's how I'm going to do all of mine, just to make sure that they are all centered exactly where I'd like. If I put this here and accidentally didn't get this perfectly center, then it wouldn't be centered on my little sign, and that would just drive me crazy. I almost already did it. So I'm going to place it again, just connect it, just like so. Take my little disc, center that visually. Perfect. And then peel that up. perfect. And then I have it centered on the back of my disc, and then I still have my little base piece there. Okay, so I'll go ahead and install all of the little Velcro pieces on the back, and then we will move on to the next craft. Okay, so all of my little pieces have the little Velcro piece on the back. So I'm going to start with not brand new. That will be soon. I'm going to do coming soon. And that is the one that I will have placed in my sign until baby comes. So this is what I'll have on display in our nursery until baby comes. And then the next one will be, let's see, brand new. So the brand new will come next. And then of course that will be in there for the first month, and then we'll do 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 month. And you know how that first year goes. It goes by so fast. So there we go. I love it. I have been wanting to do this forever, and it turned out so cute. That is going to be pretty. So it'll just go on their little nightstand bureau area, and it'll be a fun little element to change out throughout that first year. Okay, so let's go ahead and start the next nursery craft. I can't wait to see how the next one turns out. Also, be sure to stay tuned till the very end, and I'll show you a little sneak peek of our nursery, and you'll get to see all these cute little things placed within it, and it's going to be so fun. So I'll just place these actually in a little drawer underneath the little signs so I know where they are, and they'll be so cute. Okay, so before we go back into Design Space, as promised, I'll show you where to find my ebook about how to take pictures of your baby's first 12 months, or if you wanted to gift that to someone for a baby shower. So this is my blog. It's just Bethadilly spelled out.com. And then if you go down here, you will see shops. You can click on shop, and that will take you to all of my ebooks. Okay, and so then my shop page opens up, and these are the ebooks that I have written. So I have quite a few here that are really fun. So this is all about just taking photographs of your everyday, and then I have some on how to edit photos. I have some on how to take pictures of Christmas time and how to be intentional as a mama or a dad during Christmas, but also getting some really good pictures as well. And you can browse through these, but this is the one I wanted to tell you about. So I'm going to click on this. It's called The First 12, A Guide to Photographing Your Baby's First Year. And then if you go on here, you can see just a little bit more about this book. So I have just written about how you can photograph that first year of your little one, and I have little examples, and you can just see all of the little things. This one, oh my gosh, this was such a long time ago. So this was when we were prepping for our first baby and building the nursery. That was so fun. So you can take a little peek inside the pages. This is a digital ebook, so you will not have a physical copy. It's something that you download, but it will also tell you what is included in the ebook. So super, super fun, and this is how you would purchase that if you are interested. But go ahead and check that out if you are a mama and wanting to document that first 12 months, because my goodness, it goes by so fast. Okay, let's hop into Design Space, and I will show you how to style the next craft. Okay, so here we are in Design Space. The next thing I want to do is I want to put this cute design on a pillow. So I have a really pretty rocking chair that is in our nursery that I have had in all 3 of our babies' rooms, and it is amazing. So I wanted to have a really nice throw pillow for it. And I have always loved this design. It has just been speaking to me in Design Space forever. So this is just in Design Space, and I just think it's so pretty. It's very nursery-like, in my opinion. Even though it has flowers on it, I also think it's still gender neutral, and it reminds me of a rocking horse. And even though it's not, it just, with this little scallop at the bottom, it makes me think of just a nursery. So anyway, I have loved this, and I am definitely going to make something out of this finally. So I am going to pull this off to the side. Oh, actually, no, it's all one piece, so I can just go ahead and get it ready. So I'm actually going to use an infusible ink Cricut pillowcase because they're so soft and they're amazing. They're always a great price. I always stock up on them whenever I can. So that's what I'm using. It's 18 inches by 18 inches, but I like to make my design 11.5 by 11.5. So I'm going to unlock this, come up to width and make that 11.5 and make my height 11.5, just like that. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do with that. And I'm going to make this out of a nice mint as well, just to keep it gender neutral, super pretty. And I'm going to do this out of iron-on. So even though I'm using an infusible ink pillowcase, I am placing iron-on it, which you totally can do. So I will go ahead and say make it, and then it will place it on my mat just like so. Because I'm using iron-on, I want to be sure to mirror my image, so I'm going to toggle the mirror button on and then say check out. So apparently this one is not, even though I'm an Access member, this must be a paid file. So I'll go ahead and check out because I love it so much and I've wanted it forever. So I'll check out and then I will go ahead and take you to the next screen. So it was just a 99-cent file, and because I am an Access member, I had a discount, so it was 89 cents, which is money well spent. I love it. And then I can use the setting Everyday Iron-On. Again, it reminds us to make sure mirror is turned on, which we can verify right here. Then I will place my material into the machine. We'll get it all cut out and ironed onto our pillowcase. Okay, so I am going to use some really pretty, I think this is Caesar Easy Weed. So I will go ahead and place this on my mat. I have lots of sheets of this because I think it's gorgeous, so I bought it in bulk. So what you want to do with this is you want to make sure you do shiny side down, or in this case it'll be color side down. And again, this is iron-on or HTV. So I like to just roll it all the way up and just expose that first inch to an inch and a half, then line that up on my mat. That just makes an easier way of getting a whole sheet down on a mat at once. And I believe this sheet is just a tad shy of 12 by 12 inches. So I'm just going to bring that down just a little bit. That way I don't have it cut off any of my image. So ready to go. So loading in and cutting. Okay, so it is all ready to go. It's been cut out. So I am going to begin weeding my design. So with it face down, just like it was face down on the mat, I will start pulling apart the background area. That's how I like to get things started. And begin getting this all weeded. And it starts taking shape the more and more you weed. I love the color mint instead of yellow for gender neutral things. I'm not sure why. There's really nothing wrong with yellow, but I just love that mint color. So that is where we have gone with our designing for sure. So with designs like this that have a lot of pieces and parts, it may be helpful to keep design space open so that you can reference the design and so that you can visually see kind of what it's supposed to look like, so that you know which areas to pull up and which areas to leave down on your pressing sheet. But honestly, this is a really easy design to weed, especially at this size. The pieces come out really, really nice. Okay, I think I have everything weeded, so I'm going to turn this around. And then I just like to take my weeding tool, make sure I don't have any little weeded parts of iron-on still left on my sheet, because if I do, those little pieces will iron on onto my project. So I just like to take my weeding tool and kind of scan the design, and I am missing the middles of these little petals here, or these leaves, so I'll grab those. This is why I like to just take my time and double check with my weeding tool. All right, so I am all good this time. So I am going to use the biggest of my Easypresses, and I will set that to 305, and I'll be pressing this for 10 to 15 seconds. And I like to remove my craft mat from underneath when I do any pressing, just so it doesn't get too warm. And then I'll prep my pillowcase. Okay, so for my pillowcase, I just like to make sure that I know where that zipper is, and I like that to be at the bottom. So that's just something that I'm picky about. And then I'm just gonna place that on my heat resistant mat. And then while this is preheating, what I'm going to do is just run it over my pillowcase to get all the wrinkles out and to also make sure there's no moisture on the material. I'm gonna let that heat up just a little bit more so it's more effective with getting these wrinkles out. And while that is heating up more, I'll just take my lint roller and make sure there's no lint on my pillowcase. That way we get a really good press that will last and last. Okay, so just continuing to run my press over that. At this point, I'm just getting any wrinkles out from that main area, and we are good to go. Okay, so now I will bring my design in and I will place it on my pillowcase. I love that color. That looks so pretty. So you can get out a measuring tape if you feel like you need one. I am really good at just eyeballing things, so I'm going to just do that. And I like how that looks, just like so. So I'm just going to place that there and we'll get ready to press. Okay, so that has preheated fully, so now I can take my press and I will be pressing this in 2 sections. Actually, almost not just 2, maybe even a few sections, because my design is pretty wide. So let me see if I can do all of that. That might actually just be just fine. Okay, so I'll do this top part right up here, and I'm going to press start. This says medium pressure, so I'll just put a little bit of pressure on that. Okay, and then when it beeps, I will just move this down to the next part and press again. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn everything over and I will press on the back for an additional 15 seconds. And just like that. That's not really anything that is stated for Caesar Easyweed, I don't believe, but it has been just a part of my workflow for working with Cricut stuff, so I just do it as just to be safe. Okay, and then again, just pulling that down and pressing the bottom. So this is a hot or cold peel. So when it states something like that, I usually just veer somewhere in the middle. So I'm just gonna do a warm peel. So I like to take it off of that heat press mat to help it cool down quicker. And then once this is warm, we will just peel this up. Okay, so it's about warm. So I'm just going to peel this up and monitor any areas that may come up, but I'm not seeing anything. Everything has laid down really nicely. Actually did a really good press. Okay, just continuing to peel up. Whoops. And everything laid down perfectly, so I'm all done. So if you, for some reason, didn't have yours laid down as well, then you can just place this sheet right back over to protect it and then put some more heat on there, but it laid down perfectly. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the final craft. Okay, so for my final craft, I have this really sweet little memory box that I purchased from the Container Store, and I am going to just personalize a label to put inside of here. So I'm going to go ahead and hop into Cricut Design Space and show you how to find good fonts for writing, and then I'll show you how to set it to write with the pen on your Cricut machine, and we'll have the Cricut write out with the pen a new little label for the front of this little box. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so what I would like to do is I'm going to come over to the shapes very quickly and grab a square, and I'm going to recreate the size of the little label that I want to make. So I'm going to unlock this. I have a width of 2.5 inches and a height of 0.75 inches for my label, and I'll make my screen bigger so you can really see here. And then I will just make this a white label, and then I will come over to text. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go to filters, and I'm going to filter for writing fonts. When you click the writing font filter, it will only show you fonts that are good with using the pen. So it's a really, really good little habit to get into so that you're not scrolling through fonts that potentially won't even work for you. This is also good for using the foil tool, and so it's another little hack for finding quick and easy fonts for the foil. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I actually know what I want to use. I could just scroll through here and all of these would be good writing fonts, but I know that I want to use I think it's Telegram. So I'm going to use that font. I'll click on it and then I can write out what I want my label to say. So I am just going to say keep sakes. And then what I can do is I can just size that down for my label, just like that. So that looks pretty good, just like this. Okay, so you can see right here the operation is already set to pen because I picked a font for writing, and then the style is set to writing, so we're good to go. What I can do is select both and come up to a line, and I will say center. That way my word is centered on my label. And then to ensure that my Cricut writes out my word exactly how I have it on my label here, I can take both of them and come down and attach them together. Now I am good to go. So what I can do is simply say make it. So now you can see my little label right here. I can say continue, and then I can set my material. So I will actually just cut this out on cardstock. So I am going to browse all materials. I will come down to cardstock and say medium cardstock and click done. Then it will have me load my black pen into clamp A. My fine point blade is already in clamp B, so we're good to go. Just because it says the black pen does not mean you have to use the black pen. You can insert any color pen that you would like. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this all written and cut out. Okay, so I grabbed my light grip mat and I have a little scrap piece of cardstock that I'm going to use. So I will place that right on my mat and open up my machine. Once again, we are going to load our mat, and then we are going to open up clamp A. I am going to just use the fine tip point black Cricut pen, and then I will go ahead and just put that into clamp A. So I just pop it right in there till I hear a click, close the little clamp. Again, the fine point blade is in clamp B, and I can just click this little flashing Cricut button to start. So once I click that, what it's going to do is it will have the pen do the writing first, just like so, and then as soon as the pen is done writing, it will automatically switch over to the second clamp, which is clamp B, and it will just automatically start cutting out. Okay, so it's already done writing, so it just automatically switches over to the blade without me doing anything, and it's cutting out the actual label. Then I can just go ahead and unload my mat. And then I like to really quickly take away my pen and put the cap back on, because if not, I'll forget, and then that would be such a bummer. Okay, then I'm going to just turn this over and peel away my little label. That way I don't bend it. And there is our, whoops, oh my goodness, our little label, just like that. So very, very easy. Now I can get it all placed in my little box. Okay, so here's my little box. I love having a little keepsake box for the little ones because there's always things to put in there. I keep all of our sonograms as I'm pregnant and going through pregnancy. I just collect little things for them. And then, of course, all the little cards that we get. That's always nice as well. And there we go. So because that's kind of floating in there, I'm going to take the original label that was placed inside there, and I'm going to place that behind just to give it a little bit of cushion. That way it actually just keeps that label in place. And that feels much better. So there we go. That is how it turned out. I love how that looks. Perfect. Okay, so those are all the little crafts. I have completely tuckered myself out, so I am going to stop there. I will go ahead and show you the nursery right after I put all these little things in there, so stay tuned and you'll see that in just a moment. If you enjoyed this, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to vote if you think this little one is a boy or a girl. All right, everyone, I'll see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed the little sneak peek of the nursery.